Hello, everybody. It's Just in Case of American Newscape, joining our friend and media personality, Jerry Maldonado, back for another installment of Meatball Therapy. Hello, Jerry. Welcome back to American Newscape.
I feel like Thunder Lips from Rocky 3. Hey man, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, good
People
evening.
don't know that. I know, right? People don't know that. Justin and I, like, we love our afternoon naps, and to us, it's our life.
It
It
is.
comes with age, man.
And we should do an episode one of these days. Afternoon naps matter.
Naps matter, yes. The problem is alarms matter too, and I almost missed the whole show because of it.
But we're here, Jerry, we're here.
Yes, we're here, and I'm gonna get serious. Tried. I think.
Okay, why are we here, Jerry? What are we talking about?
God, coffee matters, man. Because I'm trying to get my stuff here. You and I had, um, remember back? I was going through some emails. I'm great. I'm proud to say Amazon wants to release my book with the Amazon logo. And I was going back through the emails to try to find the manuscript for that because we're going to redo a little bit of it. And I saw some of our first emails from like 2008. And with you and I, we've been going back and forth for a long time, and we had a long hiatus there, a good almost I think it was a decade there, Justin, that you and I didn't connect because we were doing our thing.
Well,
Um, but go ahead.
well, I think we connected, but just enough to make sure we were still on this side of the grass. But you're right.
Yeah,
We were doing nothing productive together.
yeah. We kind of just. I was living a past life back then. I had spent virtually almost a decade reliving something that already happened, not realizing it was affecting my present moment. A lot of us fail to realize that what we dwell on, we bring upon. And shows like this are not redundant or abstract. The past is a powerful tool. Who's that singer? Randy Newman, You Got a Friend in Me. We got a lot of friends in us. We have all the gifts and we have all the tools to fix anything that has happened to us, but how do we use them is the powerful question. And there's an area of our brain that very few of us know or even talk about. But and I spoke about this on America's Mentor several days ago. It's called the RAS. And this is the third component of the mental gatekeeper. It's basically, it filters out. It's about the size of your pinky. My audience knows this from Facebook Live. It's about the size of your pinky, and it's based at your spinal column, the base of your spinal column, up your brain stem. And this little guy, as I called him a different name on Facebook Live, I'm unedited there. But this little guy is your mental filter. Your thoughts start in your frontal cortex right there, and if you're thinking of the past all the time, that's going to go in basically a nanosecond to the subconscious mind. There, it's going to open up all the storehouses of being a loser, like I was back then, as I was calling myself to recreate that. From there, it goes to the reticular activation system. I'm not sure if you ever heard of this friend in me that we have. This is the filter that is like our emotional magnet. It creates all the components. It monitors our heart. It monitors all the chemicals in our body, but we tell it what to do. So if you're constantly telling yourself, starting in the old creative mind and going to the subconscious mind, it goes down to the RAS and it goes by your predominant thought there, creates your feeling. This is the internal magnet because we all go by feelings, and people think thoughts are things. No, thoughts can become things. When you understand that extra gift that we have, you'll realize and take precautionary measures not to invoke constant thoughts of I'm a loser. If I hear I'm a loser again from my friends, I'm like, stop it, because you're creating the chemicals that are making you feel that way. And by what you feel is what you attract. How's
Wow.
that? That good?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting. And
I just kind of kept on going, man. I was in my own little realm of thinking, but this powerful tool that very few people know about, that we are gifted with, mind you. We have all the tools and components, they even say in scripture, I am the light and the way. They're not talking about some deity. They're talking about you, meatball. They're talking about us. We have all these tools in place, but we got to understand how to use them because they all have a specific purpose. Yeah, the conscious mind is great. You use it to think about things. That goes right to the subconscious, opens up the storehouses of events from that. There it goes to the RAS, which creates and helps produce the feelings and chemicals associated with it. There, it's how you feel. There is what you attract.
well, with that logic, and that logic does make sense, if you are a binge watcher of Beavis and Butthead, you will not only attract Beavis and Butthead, you will become Beavis and or Butthead. Correct?
Yeah, but they were fun, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, they were kind of ugly, but they were fun. No offense to Beavis or Butthead. It was that teeth thing. I don't know. They had to clean the teeth, man. But it's a powerful tool. I mean, this is the beauty about life. People think, and a lot of people contact me. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I said, you've already answered your question because you've already thought of it. You've already opened up situations in your subconscious of why you can be this loser. Therefore, you're going to start transforming it to the RAS. You're going to start feeling that way, acting that way, and attracting that way. And this is why we have the power. We have the power in us, and few people actually realize that. We have all the mental tools. They're actually mental power tools to create this amazing life. But when you understand it, you open up the owner's manual and say, yeah, oh, yeah, I forgot about this part. That's an important component. It's filled with neurons. And it's like your atom bomb, man. You tell it. See, the beauty about the RS is your predominant thoughts are filtered out through this system and attracts to you. It's like you're wanting a car, you're thinking about it, a certain car. Goes to the subconscious of driving that car. Your RAS kicks in, and then you start seeing that car. It's your eternal magnet. And it's a beautiful tool that we have, but very few people understand it. Therefore, they just kind of expunge it from their thinking, not realizing it's a mental magnet. And if you understand how to use it and use your predominant thoughts well, create the feelings associated with it, it's your best friend. It's your friend in me.
Okay, Randy. Um, so your
It
past
may
matter.
sound, it may sound in right, great point because the more reflection, the more projection. You're reflecting on like I did for a decade. That's a long time, man. It took me a long time to figure out because I was the rambunctious one. I've always, I was like what Jim Carrey said. People didn't call me the ham. I was the whole pig. I was having that much fun in life. It took a one punch in the gut of that series of my life where I just kept telling myself something and remanifesting that when I realized part of the cause obviously was my thinking. Therefore, all that storehouse of loser effects, so called loser effects in my life, started going to the RAS. I started feeling that way. And then I started attracting more of that. And when people can really understand it, it's your way out. It's you understanding how the machine works. And when you grab it, man, you grab it by life and really project that self. I mean, life is amazing.
Well, but our past is comprised of positive and negative energy. So I think part of this is harnessing the positive energy.
You're right. You're right. I say it every day to myself.
Hmm.
I must affirm every day, at least 100 times, how proud I am of myself. Not bloviating to the world, man. I'm not being some egotistical. I'm basically my own cheerleader. And that's what everybody has to be out there. You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be the one on the sideline using that best friend to create the feelings, the serotonins, and all these things in your body, not the cortisol that'll block you up, man. It's this system in place that we have that is programmable. Your predominant thoughts, your RAS is going to filter out those predominant thoughts and create the feelings by it. Therefore, it's going to attract it to you. You're going to start seeing it everywhere. You start saying you're a loser, you start feeling it every day, it's going to bring you more situations to clarify your predominant thoughts. You and I talk a lot about the metaphysical realm, beyond the physical, with here on America's New Escape. I'm talking about the actual physical components we have already within us. We all have it, man. We all have this component in ourselves to change anything with just by thinking that way to start the process.
Well, and you're encouraging us to take advantage of what we already have, which is a good thing.
Yes, we have the gifts. We all have. It may sound overwhelming to certain people, but the beauty is we're all the same. And they've always said that. I never believed that. I thought this one was more successful. He was different. No, we have all the same tools. People just use them in different ways. And when people can understand how their tools are used, I mean, my goodness, you'll stop, cracking your knuckles trying to using it the wrong way. And you'll start realizing I'm the power. And like I said to you before, our little hiatus that you and I had, that was just the best time of self-reflection because I didn't realize why I was hitting the wall until I turned the car the right way. And when you understand the direction of your thoughts, you understand the direction of your life. So your past is I love my past because it was an amazing learning tool of how not to be. So why would I keep reflecting on who I was instead of who I am now?
Well, you're right. We are byproducts of our past, whether we want to believe that or not. And
Yeah, that's
recognizing
such a
it
harsh word, byproduct. I sound like a
byproduct.
hot dog.
O
we're a
A
we're
O
we're
S C
we're
A
a
R.
ballpark Frank, man. We're a ballpark Frank of our past.
Yeah.
Literally, there's pieces of you and I all over the road. We just didn't pick them up. We just kept moving.
No, exactly. And you and I doing self-affirming who we are and what we are doesn't make us narcissists, which a lot of people would claim that you and I are narcissists, but we're not. We're just using
No.
that as fuel to get accomplished what we need to get accomplished.
Well, when I realized that nobody was coming to rescue me, literally, physically, and mentally, I had to become my own cheerleader. I know there was a lot of dark days in there. There was a lot of dark days in that cement block. That wasn't a jail cell, meatball. That was a motel room that I had to figure out. And of course, I could have taken the easy way out. Just go live with somebody. But how are you going to solve the problem of why you are there without self-reflection? And I didn't understand it, but I knew I had to be there. Did I have to go hungry for days? Yeah, I did a lot of hungry days, a lot of hungry days going on down there. But it was a great period of my time to understand who I was because what I was seeing in the mirror was a loser in my eye, but what I felt in my body was, how should we say, an optimism for life that didn't know how to come out.
Well, exactly. And you took that first step, and that first step was recognizing that you
Mhm.
needed to alter your thought process, your mindset, and what you were doing for yourself.
That's all it is. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I forgot to turn off my notifications here. So stop texting me during my show, man. I'm just warning my audience here.
They're
This is
trying
for
to
good,
save you, Jerry. They're trying to say rescue you.
They're telling me shut up. You're talking too much, meatball. This is just the beauty of it. I mean, people say, "How did you get through it?" I just kept going. This is what people fail to realize. Yes, the past has happened. Yes, we have screwed up, and I can use a few expletives to kind of enhance that a little bit. But what you dwell upon is what you bring upon. When you understand the power tools that we have, people think, oh, the mind and the subconscious mind. But the RAS, the reticular activation system, is your mental power tool that'll filter out your predominant thoughts. So if you keep sending that predominant thought of I am a loser, that is all you can create and recreate. And until I realized I had that missing component many, many moons ago, that was the epiphany. And self reflection can only bring that out. When you surround yourself with distractions in your life when you're going through a period, people think, oh, go see a friend. I didn't want to see anybody. I wanted to figure things out for myself. It was a long period. It was almost like a cement monastery, man. I had to figure everything out. But it was a great way of getting back on my feet in so many ways. So hopefully this will inspire others to realize you have all the tools, man. You have all the tools. We are gifted with the same powers as the most successful icons of the past and all these deceased notables to recreate our life exactly the way we want it to be just by understanding how to use the power tool.
Well, I don't know how it is today, but back in the day, Marine Corps boot camp was
Ooh,
about breaking you
ooh,
down, and building you back up with all those skills.
hoorah. I mean, the Marines, those guys are awesome. They had, I did a column and I think you featured it, God, back in 2012, man, or 10, I think it was. I'm not sure. It was called The Mental Monster. And back then, they don't do it now. They've gone politically correct. But,
Right.
back then, they would drop soldiers, they would blindfold soldiers and literally drop them in the forest and say, you've got a week to get out of here. You're on your own. Have a nice day. And they take off, and that'd be it. And they had to figure it out for themselves. They had to face the mental monster. They had to face that. This is, to me, it may seem harsh. That's why they don't do it anymore. But it was the greatest experience for a lot of these guys because it showed the true power and perseverance that we all have. And when you're dealing with Marines, I mean, what they go through, can only imagine what they went through as far as building them up, per se, and conditioning them for what they're about to experience.
Exactly. Well, and then if you think about the military people that were on Omaha Beach back in the day, how did they survive it? One step at a time. One step at
And
a
how
time.
old were they? How, 17, 18 years old? I got
15.
people in their 50s crying. I like, come on, man, you're going to be all right. It
Yep.
may sound so simple. I mean, I was one of them. It may sound so simple, but yeah, I look at Omaha Beach and my God, I love history. You know, these guys were, I mean, they're 17, they're driving tanks, man. And I got a 35-year-old employee who cries when he hits his finger. I don't understand what happened between that time frame. We need to get the Marines here out here, man. Put those guys in a forest. But you're right. You're right. The mental conditioning that those guys went through and still do, however way it's set up now, is a great foundation. And you bring up a great point. Our foundation is everything. My family, we all came from, struggling and all the other things. I just use that past not as an asset, but as an adversary. I kept fighting the past, and people got to realize that I kept fighting the past of living in lack. Therefore, I kept creating more lack. I kept fighting the past of never having enough. I kept creating not more of enough. It's a hamster wheel of that we just keep recreating knowingly and or unknowingly. It's when you know yourself, when you start changing your thinking, is what you bring to yourself, and using all the components, the physical components now, not the metaphysical realm of thinking, the physical components that we already have in stock, on shelves, on sale today, ready to go, man. Sounds like I'm talking at work over here.
Well, sounds like a Walmart commercial.
I know. Walmart. I love that store. Talk about a concept, but go ahead.
You're right. It's about perspective. And, even the poor hamster eventually will recognize that he can never beat the wheel.
No, no, it's pretty funny too. They end up flying off the thing, and it's a great point. I mean, you watch a hamster on a wheel. He literally goes until he flies off it. A lot of us don't realize how far we've come till we hit the ground. Sometimes hitting the ground is good. It's you understanding that you put yourself there. The problem was I spent 10 years blaming that life put me there when I didn't realize, even though I was doing all the inspirational stuff, I didn't realize how the tools worked. And this is what self reflection does for people. This is what journaling does for me every day. It's a positive affirmation of self, not an egotistical, bloviating kind of way, but a declaration of who I am and what I'm going to create for today and my life. So to get past the past, you have to start creating that new mindset of the future, living by it, feeling by it, using all the tools that we have. Man, I mean, life can only give you more of that. It's a beautiful thing that we have within us.
Well, and the other important component is become an objective observer of yourself. I mean, see yourself as you are.
Some people really look in the mirror and see nothing, man. They're afraid to look at. They're afraid, and I say this respectfully. They're afraid to look at their circumstances as self-imposed. Remember that word. All of our issues in life are virtually self-imposed. It's got to start somewhere. You think it's awesome learning about this attraction force that we have within us, the neuroscience and the quantum physics behind it. Well, when you realize we're just a big science project and we're creating the petri dish in our thoughts every day, that kind of thinking and understanding and observation is what Einstein talked about a lot of. That kind of thinking and observation is going to get you the results that you want and or don't want, knowingly and unknowingly.
Well, it's kind of like for those that are watching what's going on in these California fires, it's a total shit show. Everybody's trying to cast blame on others as opposed to rolling up their sleeves and doing something about it.
It's a sad scenario, huh?
Yeah.
You know, you got people playing politics with people's lives, and yeah, these people were affluent. You know, God bless them, and I'm sure they have the means in a lot of ways. But don't use it as a pedestal for your own beliefs. I mean, be quiet, Meatball. I mean, not you there, Meatball, but be quiet and take care of the people. That's all that
That's
matters. That's all they're looking for. They're not looking to join the left or the right. They're looking for leadership. And everybody's trying to grasp that power struggle, but the true leaders are the ones that don't speak and the ones that understand. When I learned to keep my mouth shut in
yeah.
a lot of ways
How's that
is when
working?
I when I learned to sit back, like you said, and observe, is when I realized what I was doing. It's a great point. Observation of self and reflection of self is your best tool because you'll start seeing what you're attracting. It's just a reflection of your thoughts manifested. And it's a great idea, man. It's a great concept. Much love for the trigger on that. I love that point.
Okay, Jerry. Well, I think you brought this episode home, and you're wanting us to accentuate the positive, and I think that's something we should all aspire to every day.
Yeah, I talked a lot tonight, but honestly, there's a lot of people out there, and from what I see, mind you, on my end, I'm not sure necessarily on yours, but I mean, every word is a creation. You're just telling the outside world how to respond, and the outside world is just a reflection of your inside world. And you have all the tools. We have all the tools. There's no excuse anymore. We have all the tools to make this life that we don't like even better. But we got to understand how to use them. The RAS, obviously, the reticular activation system, obviously, is an important component, but it all starts in the very beginning. That's why it's called the frontal lobe, your conscious thinking. What you consciously think is what you constantly bring.
You know, the thought that our past matters, all we have to do is go back to the day when we all played shoots and ladders, and that was preparing us.
That sucked. I always fell on the biggest ladder, man. No matter what. I always see, you know why? Because I was focusing on that. You bring up a great point. That's a reticular activation system in progress. I would start the game and I'd be staring at that big ladder at the top. Just two steps before getting to my goal. And I would hit it every time. Have to, it's a great point. I was focusing on the downfall. And it's a great point. You and your triggers, man. I love you. You're awesome.
All right, my friend.
Awesome, man.
No more shoots and ladders for you.
No,
Hey,
no, I'm gonna throw that stuff away, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Candy Land for all. So,
I
everybody.
like Candyland. All right. That was all right. But see, now I gotta go to Hasbro online and buy this stuff to start framing it. Thanks a lot, man. It's all good.
You probably, if you look for an app, you can put the Candyland game right on your phone. Hey, everybody. This
Yeah.
has been Justin Case and Jerry Maldonado bringing you meatball therapy. And
And Candyland.
yeah, and antiquated game reviews. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information and links provided in this video is read more. Today's the day to subscribe to this channel. Please learn more about Jerry Maldonado as time permits and say hi to his Facebook Live audience.